7:41 p.m. Please be aware that this meeting may be filmed or audio recorded, and these records, including our meeting minutes, may be available to the public. Will Senator Felix please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. I will now deliver a brief land acknowledgement. We, the University of Florida Student Government, recognize that our campus is located on the ancestral and traditional territory of the Seminole Tribe of Florida and the Timucua Tribe. We recognize that the historic displacement and violence against Indigenous people have led to severe plights for Indigenous individuals throughout our American history. Despite these circumstances, the Indigenous communities across this nation have continued to stay connected and nurturing with this territory and with their cultural ways of life. We pay our respects to these Indigenous elders and descendants of the past and present, especially those who have called the University of Florida home within their lifetime. We shall commit ourselves to supporting Indigenous sovereignty and culture within and beyond the University of Florida. And now for a moment of silence. Thank you. Will a member of the Rules and Ethics Committee please conduct roll call?
Andrews?
Here.
Here. Pantevi?
Here.
Here. Archulus?
Here.
Here. Adam?
Here.
Here. Bennett?
Here.
Here. Blythe? Here. Here. Fox? Here. Here. Loyosa?
Here.
Here. Brandmeier?
Here.
Here. Bravo?
Here.
Here. Britton?
Here.
Here. Cafarata?
Here.
Here. Canella?
Here.
Here. Chabra? Chabra? Comstock?
Here.
Here. Davis? Davis? DeCampley? Here. Here. Dill? Here. Here. Doonan? Here. Here. Drescher?
Here.
Here. Eisenberg?
Here.
Here. Enriquez? Here. Here. Eubank? Here. Here. Feldstein?
Here.
Here. Felix?
Here.
Here. Ferber?
Here.
Here. Ramos here. Finbrock? Here. Here. Flores? Here. Fullerton? Fullerton? Furman?
Here.
Here. Gelati? Gelati? Golosorki?
Here.
Here. Gregg?
Here.
Here. Henley? Here. Here. Hoffman? Here. Edicula?
Here.
Here. Isaacson? Here. Here. Jabor? Here. Jacobson? Here. Here. Johnson?
Here.
Here. Carmelet? 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 Katz?
Here.
Here. Katz?
Here.
Here. Kajabi?
Here.
Here. Khan?
Here.
Here. Kugler?
Here.
Here. Kushwaha?
Here.
Here. Labradini?
Here.
Here. Larson?
Here.
Here. Levitt?
Here.
Here. Littman?
Here.
Here. Lockwood? Here. Lucan? Lucan? Mahmoudi?
Here.
Here. McNamara? Here. Melamed? Here. Here. Mento?
Here.
Here. Metric? Here. Here. Mirabel? Here. Here. Moulton? Here. Here. Murphy? Here. Here. Nadeau?
Here.
Here. Papa?
Here.
Here. Pasco? Here. Pecora? Pecora? Prieto? Here. Here. Putnam?
Here.
Here. Rappaport? Rappaport? Rapid? Here. Here. Ravindranath? Ravindranath? Riley? Here. Here. Rodriguez? Here. Here. Rubai?
Here.
Here. Runyon? Runyon? Sabotage?
Here.
Here. Salvador?
Here.
Here. Shapansky? Here. Here. Schramm? Here. Here. Cipher?
Here.
Here. Cipher?
Here.
Here. Sethi?
Here.
Here. Shaw?
Here.
Here. Sharma? Sharma? Simon?
Here.
Here. Sriram? Here. Stevens? David Stevens? Strukowski.
Here.
Here. Tappan. Here. Here. Driggs.
Here.
Here. Trower. Trower. Urbens.
Here.
Here. Walsinovich.
Here.
Here. Yakin.
Here.
Here. Zergadakis.
Here.
Here. Are there any senators that I did not call? There are 82 senators present.
Quorum has been established with 82 senators present. We are now in line for public comments, starting with Tyler Sklar. You'll have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm back. So as I was saying before, so what was the turnout before COVID? What happened to it? Well, COVID killed it. And it did go up after COVID, but obviously now, the case is now on average turnout. And I feel like maybe if the student government was like, maybe if the student government actually capitalized on, the high viewership of these live streams and actually implemented INC committee or whoever's in charge of equipment actually implemented the live stream equipment, they could have had saved the turnout in those years. We could have actually higher turnout than now. We could have, instead of maybe being peak turnout in 23 with 12,000 on Sunday, it could have been 15,000. But nope, they waited 40 years. And I believe that's a big failure on student government's part. And some of you might not be here, but I mentioned this before, but there was another person, I made a statement. Student government should acknowledge its past, even the bad and the ugly. And I feel like this was part of the bad. Student government, they capitalized on these live streams, even though there's clear evidence that, people were actually interacting with them. There's a bunch of high viewership, and they waited 40 years. And the viewership now reflects that weight. So there was something else. I was hearing that, recreational sports, presentation. They said something that, could be like this. They want to broaden out the community. Well, I feel like this was going to broaden out the community. Not everyone can attend a diversity committee meeting or any committee meeting because, you have to go all the way to the right, down to the subway, the meeting notice. That's it. They used to do it on Instagram, but then they stopped doing that for some reason. Don't really know why. So I started my own visual recordings, and here's why I think they're superior to audio recordings. As you can see, there's a clear title. You can just find this on YouTube. You can search up right now. And unlike the audio recordings, there's actually a transcript. They actually make an auto-generated transcript. So instead of trying to figure out what people might say in audio recordings, you can have a roughly maybe 70% accurate transcript of what they say. And it's not in this one, but here on YouTube, you can actually make timestamps for the video. So you want to find something specific like the deliberation for open energy community, you can do that. You can just click on it and boom. You don't have to waste time scrolling through because there's nothing here that can help you. You kind of have to just figure it out. Oh well, you're on your own. There's nothing you can do. Even use the minutes. There's no time stamps in minutes. There's actually not really that much in minutes on deliberations. It's just emotions. And I already mentioned this before in the summer, a lot of you weren't here, but they're very vague and sometimes unhelpful and sometimes even incredibly wrong.
I am so sorry, but that is time.
Yes, time to actually act on this. Thank you.
We are now in line for Anamika Naidu. We are now in line for Annika Singh.
I yield to Ananka.
Okay, we are now in line for Anamika Naidu with 6 minutes whenever you're ready.
Hello. I would like to start by saying I don't really want to be here. I'm tired. It's Hell Week for my dance team. You know what that means? I'm in the trenches. I'm not in Senate either. Neither is the person who seated to me, obviously, because senators can't public comment. But I don't really want to be here. I'm here to talk about the Replacement Agenda Committee. I served on it for less than a year, but almost. I think it was about 9 months being a deputy and then being party leader. Obviously, one of the things that were agenda today are going to the Mercury seat, and I'm not, one of the big things that I want to talk about is one of the precedents that we established during my term as NPL. Actually, let me get to that as the second half of this. You know what? We had a candidate, she ran for sophomore, lost, and then applied for the Mercury seat. She let me know she was applying. She's like, oh, can I apply for this? I was like, sure, go to the Mercury, I know that. Great, she applied. Last week when she applied, I guess there were some other students there who also applied. I don't know who they are. I also don't really know the other two candidates who applied this week either, other than this one student. The committee, from what I was told, said that her ideas were unoriginal, not fleshed out, that sort of thing. So then I guess she reapplied this week, just for the new critique. Well, there really wasn't much of a critique. They didn't really deliberate on her that much, but just for the new critique, that she wasn't qualified enough. And if we're going tit for tat with ideas, again, there's no disrespect to the candidate that the actual committee chose. This is a critique on the committee, not on the people who applied. Let me make that clear. But if we're going tit for tat in terms of innovative ideas, I'm pretty sure adding trash cans to Mercury is great, but it's not as innovative as collaborating with restaurants in Midtown so that students in Mercury can use their meal plan there. That's also an idea that we've had senators like Danielle Collins pitch when they were up in committee for Infinity. That was something, it was the Midpoint Eatery. Having Flexbooks accepted at Midpoint Eatery as a means for students in Infinity to use their meal plans because they live somewhere that isn't necessarily close to the retail locations on campus. And that was heralded as this amazing idea. But when it comes out of somebody that you know is affiliated with change, it's all of a sudden, what, not deliberated on? That's a fantastic idea. Getting even one collaboration in Midtown would be beneficial for all students. And off-campus, a student with an off-campus commuter plan, let me not that, no, that's a pretty clearly good idea. I'm not the candidate. I'm sure she went off in committee. I also want to talk about someone else who applied, who was brought to my attention that during a recess, this was deliberated on by the committee, but the student who lost for Mercury applied for the committee, and it was brought to the attention of the committee during a recess, hey, he lost, you can't put him into the seat. To which, I guess it was responded that, oh no, but he got some votes though, so that's gotta count for something. Well, he's like the second best person for Mercury, right? He ran, he didn't win, but he got second. No, he lost. That's not a precedent that I created, that's a precedent that Cole Bennett created last spring. And it was a really good one, actually, it was very good. It was when we created the replacement procedure. You can name a replacement, but it can't be someone who lost. That makes such valid sense. That was one thing that both sides of the aisle were able to agree on, is the replacement agenda committee and a replacement procedure is never going to be as good as an actual election. Ever, right? That's something we all agreed on. Yet why am I getting told that in committee this weekend, it was literally said that no, like, the interview is even, sometimes just as important as the election. No. I don't see the constituents of Mercury in the replacement and agenda committee. And the replacement agenda committee isn't terrible, but it's not as good as an election. The only say in this choice that the students of Mercury actually got was voting for somebody else. That's the only say they got in this specific decision, right? And again, I'm not coming at the candidates, I'm coming at the committee. Because I think they've been here long enough to know that that's a precedent that we have been operating on for far too long. And you can't do that and expect not to hear from me, or from anyone who was here this summer, or from anyone on either side of the aisle who worked on the replacement procedures that we all worked on together. The ones that you also tried to repeal multiple times. Guys, these are good for everybody. If a change senator lost, no, you should have put them in. If a vigilance senator lost, no, you should have put them in. For the things that they lost for. I fear that's common sense. I fear. Because we worked really hard on it last time we did this. I really urge you all, and this isn't just for this particular instance, this is in general, especially in the future when you do find candidates come out of committee and you are pro-conning them on the floor. I didn't touch anything, I swear. Watch the interview yourself. Each interview is 5 minutes max. They cut you off 5 minutes, so they're not long. Watch them yourself, okay? And then deliberate on them on the floor. based on what those candidates have to say, not based on their party affiliation, and not based on, I don't know, maybe a second presentation that they come up here and give. It's not fair to everyone else who applied. Use your judgment, use your critical thinking. I know we're a small presence in the chamber, but have integrity. I give you that credit, I do. I believe that you all have integrity until you show me that you don't. So be better, okay? You haven't been here for that long. No, approach RNA unbiasedly. The student body deserves it. You represent your political party, but you represent the student body. And that's what the committee's for. Thank you.
All right. We are now in line for amendments to the minutes. Are there any amendments to the minutes? Seeing none, we are now in line for amendments to the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Judiciary Chair Bravo.
Sure, so I move to strike SSB 2025-1081 from the agenda as it was withdrawn prior to the Judiciary Committee meeting by the author by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to strike the withdrawn bill, SSB 2025-1081 from the agenda by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up,
Follow-up.
I also move to add sponsors on that piece of paper up front to SSB 2025-1083 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to add the list of sponsors that is currently at the front of the room to SSB 2025-1083 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
I yield to Senator Majority Party Leader Khan.
Majority Party Leader Khan.
I move to approve Sherry Liu to the open Murphy area seat by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve Sherry Liu to the open Murphy area seat by unanimous consent. Are there any objections?
I object.
Okay.
Follow
Follow-up.
I motion to approve of the special rule for absences.
There has been a motion to approve the block of excused and unexcused absences by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
I move to approve SSB 2025-1077 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1077 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I motion to approve SSB 2025-1079 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1079 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve SSB 2025-1080 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1080 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow-up.
Follow-up.
I move to approve SSB 2025-1082 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1082 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, the motion passes.
And then I yield to Senator Andrew Larson.
Thank you. I move to pass SSB 20, oh, are we allowed to do second reading? Point of information, are we allowed to do bills under second reading? Thank you. I move to approve SSB 2025-1066 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to approve SSB 2025-1066 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
Follow up.
Follow-up.
I move to withdraw SSB 2025-1067 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to withdraw SSB 2025-1067 by unanimous consent. Quick question, are you the author?
I am.
Okay. Are there any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes.
Follow up.
Follow-up.
I move to withdraw SSB 2025-1068 by unanimous consent.
There's been a motion to withdraw SSB 2025-1068 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes.
Follow up.
Follow-up.
I move to withdraw SSB 2025-1069 by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to withdraw SSB 2025-1069 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes.
I yield to MPL Khan.
I move to put SSB 2025-1062 through 1065 into a block by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to make a block of the following bills: SSB 2025-1062, 1063, 1064, and 1065 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes.
Follow-up,
Follow-up,
I move to approve that block by unanimous consent.
there has been a motion to approve the block of SSB 2025, 1062, 1063, 1064, and 1065 by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Hearing none, that motion passes.
I move to adopt the agenda.
There has been a motion to adopt the agenda. Do I hear any objections? Seeing none, that motion passes. We are now in line for student body officer reports. Is there anyone from the president's office? Yes. External Affairs Agency Head Mason Solomon.
Good evening, Senators.
Good evening.
It is very nice to be back in the chamber with you all tonight. I want to first begin by congratulating Senate President Cipher and Senate President Pro Tem Rubai on the recent election to their roles. I'm so proud to see the impact that you all have had on this chamber since you've both been on campus, and I'm thrilled to see what accomplishments this chamber will make during your term. Congratulations. For those who may not know, my name is Mason Solomon. I have the honor of serving as the External Affairs Agency Head for this SG administration. I'm here to share a few updates on a new exciting initiative that the External Affairs Agency has worked on this semester as we continue to advocate for the priorities of U.S. students both on and off campus. This new initiative is housed in the Involving New Student Ideas for Growth, Hearing, and Transparency Act, also known as the INSIGHT Act. To understand this new initiative, let me first give us a crash course in external affairs. As the representative of the student body's voice on legislative and policy issues, the External Affairs Agency serves as a bridge between U.S. students and local, state, and federal decision makers. Our mission is to represent student interests on key issues and ensure that they are being supported in the higher education policy landscape. External Affairs focuses on supporting the students' desires surrounding the most critical issues impacting our student experience, such as student mental health, food insecurity, college affordability, and public safety. My agency supports students regarding these topics by working with partners across campus, as well as with local, state, and federal legislators. Through our programming, advocacy, and on and off campus partnerships, we strive to create a better campus for our students and ensure that you have policies, resources, and state and federal laws to reflect our community's needs. When I first stepped in the role of agency head, there was one gap in our student government that quickly became obvious to me. I found that there was not an established, centralized student government mechanism for surveying student opinions. Sometimes the student outreach might take place during tabling, maybe during office hours, but other than this sporadic engagement with students, I found that there was zero outline in our government documents guiding our student government officers in collecting public opinion data from students. This left me questioning, how do I know if I'm actually representing the most accurate concerns of our student body within my agency? Because of this gap that I recognized, my intention this year was to focus on building up external affairs, in-person programming, and outreach initiatives in order to reach students directly and hear their opinions on a multitude of important topics. We organized new in-person programming events with a focus on data collection and resource promotion, like Swamp Safety Week, Grateful Gator Giving Week, and also bolstering outreach efforts at SG Showcase at this year's State of Campus. All of these new programming initiatives were a huge success in helping my agency gauge student opinions. However, these gaps in our codes still existed despite these programming efforts from my agency this year. Personally, I was very fortunate to have such a hardworking team of individuals, many who are in this room today, who also believe that the agency should prioritize filling this gap in our student government, leading to an incredibly successful year for our agency's public opinion survey efforts. However, based on how the codes governing external affairs are written right now, there is no duty for any future SG administrator within the External Affairs Agency to follow these same efforts to ensure that they are properly representing the public opinion of students. That is why I feel it is necessary for this body to vote in favor of SSB 2025-1083, the INSIGHT Act, as tonight's meeting. This bill would outline a new duty for the External Affairs Agency to ensure proper maintenance and analysis of official student government data collection methods, including managing the newest section of the student government website that I created, entitled Share Thoughts with SG. This intention is to lay the groundwork for future external affairs agency heads to have an established, centralized mechanism for collecting data from the student body that can be used to inform programming and advocacy initiatives across our student government. Within this new section of the student government website, I plan to assist the next external affairs agency head in populating the page with student surveys and other data collection methods during the upcoming transition period. The data collected through this new page will ensure that the external affairs agency effectively identifies trends and the needs of students across our UF community, helping to ensure that our student government is properly responsive to the evolving opinions coming from the students that we serve. I'm looking forward to working with the next external affairs agency head in establishing this new practice within our student government and ensuring that the agency can continue to advocate for all Gators properly and effectively. On another note, I want to take this opportunity now to thank all who are in this room for their support of the External Affairs Agency during my term. Tonight, sadly, brings me closer and closer to the end of my term as agency head and the completion of my time as an undergraduate at the University of Florida. My time serving our student government has made me into the person I am today, and I thank all who have impacted me, both past and present, for contributing to such an unforgettable student government career over these past 4 years. While this may be my last time addressing this Senate chamber, this will surely be not be the last you will see of me. I am thrilled to be attending UF Law in the fall and committed to continue being an active and engaged member of our community over my next 3 years voting in the I remain hopeful that this body votes in favor of the Insight Act for tonight's meeting. And once again, I appreciate you all for listening to my remarks today. With a heavy heart and for the last time for the Senate chamber, thank you very much and go Gators. Former Senator Solomon out. I'll see you in the fall.
Is there anyone else from the president's office? Okay. Is there anyone from the vice president's office? The treasurer's office? Okay, we are now in line for my report. The only thing for me is that ad hocs should now be up and running. This is just going to be an announcement on who's on which ad hoc because I didn't actually send a message out to you guys. So congratulations. I call your name. So for the mental health ad hoc, again, they're raising awareness of the mental health crises and offering support to all students with regards to mental health through events and policy. By the way, I just wanted to make it known that my philosophy on, because technically you're allowed to have people who are not senators on ad hocs, but again, my opinion, as I had stated, is that traditionally ad hocs tended to be more productive when there's fewer members on it. So how we're going to try to have it right now is for the mental health ad hoc, the people who are on it, who were former senators who indicated that they wanted to be on it, are still on the committee. In the future, if someone is doing other work within student government within a particular area, so like for example, nightlife navigators, they may be added to the campus mobility and safety ad hoc, for example. But that's if they're doing other work within student government within that specific area. So that's kind of my approach to it. If anyone wants to talk about that, you're more than welcome to at my office hours, which again are from Wednesday 2 to 4. So yeah, for the mental health ad hoc, the chairs are going to stay the same, Anjani Sharma and Gabby Prieto. Congratulations. And then for the people who are on the committee, that is Nick Andrews, Julia Pasco, Kate Finfrock, Jonah Ferber, Abigail Melamed, Hannah Lockwood, Madeline Carmelek, Victoria Tiesi, AJ Celan, and Maximo Toledo. And then for the campus mobility and safety ad hoc, that is going to be our new ad hoc for the advocacy of increased safety measures and infrastructure for roads on UF and the surrounding areas. On that committee are going to be Josh Yachik, Julia Pasco, and Hannah Lockwood. And then if you three could come see me just really quickly after the meeting, since there's only 3 of you, we're going to discuss how to arrange that, and that can be a decision for all 4 of us. Okay, we are now going to move into replacement and agenda committee recommendations, starting with Sherry Liu from Murphree area. So is Sherry Liu currently here? Okay. So each recommendation is given 3 minutes of presentation, 3 minutes of Q&A, and then 3 rounds of pro-con debate with 3 minutes per side per round. So because she's not here, we're going to allow either the chair of the replacement and agenda committee to speak in place of her, or if they want, they can waive their presentation time. So what would you like to do? Would you like to present for your presentation. Okay, would you like to answer questions? Okay, we have a question and answer period. Keep in mind that this individual is not Sherry Lou, but people are still more than welcome to ask questions. So it's going to be 3 minutes of question and answer. Do I hear any questions at this time? Yes, Senator Larson.
Thank you. What specific policy initiatives did the candidate present that she wanted to pursue?
I can't answer that off the top of my head.
Understood.
Like, point of clarification, I have a presentation, the Senate secretaries also have it. I thought it should be probably posted.
Well, in that case, that, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Did she basically like
Yeah, they created a
ask you to present it or something?
We were under the impression that anybody on the replacement agenda committee could present the presentation. Is that true, or is it just the chair?
Let me double check.
Collaborate. Or dash. Oh, it's dash.
This is just a check. Oh, no, we don't do that. We took notes on this. That's why we don't want to share.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sherry had me there.
Yes, yeah. No, she's good. She's good.
All right. So we're going to, I apologize for that. I did not know that there was a presentation. We're going to move back into the presentation period because this candidate took the time to put together a presentation. And the chair of the replacement and agenda committee is able to present, and so they rescind their waiving of the presentation time. You will have 3 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. Hey, everyone, I'm not really going to comment on this. I'm just going to scroll through the slide deck and let everyone take a look at it. So, for sure. Okay. Everyone good? Awesome. Everyone good? All right. That's it.
Okay. I believe that that is all for the presentation. So we are now going to move back into the 3 minutes of question and answer. Do I hear any questions this time? Senator Nadeau.
Do you know if, as my clarification, is this decision created by the candidate or is this?
Yes.
And follow up?
Yes.
Is there any way you can comment on how she might be able to implement some of these ideas?
I cannot.
Okay. Are there any other questions at this time? Yes. Senator Larson.
Are there any noteworthy points the candidates made during her interview that do not appear in these slides that you would like to share with the chamber?
I do not believe so, but I could be incorrect. I don't remember all the points made during the interview.
Understood.
Okay. Seeing as there are no more questions and answers, thank you. We are now in line for 3 rounds of alternating con for debate with 3 minutes per side per round. So, is there anyone wishing to speak in con? Yes, Senator Larson.
Yes. I had the opportunity to watch this candidate's interview, and she is a strong candidate. She clearly has a lot of energy for the position. She clearly wants to work hard to do the best for the Murphree students. However, I also got to see the other presentations during RNA this weekend, and I was more impressed by the ideas of some of the other candidates. We heard a little bit about it tonight from former MPL Naidu's public comment about specific initiatives that other candidates brought to this position, things that we could work on in Senate to a greater extent beyond things like area cleanliness, which are obviously great initiatives, something to strive for, but I believe that other candidates presented more tangible ideas and more actionable ideas that I think would serve this position best. I yield.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in con? We are now in line for pro. Is there anyone wishing to speak in pro? Majority Party Leader con.
Yeah, so having seen all of the presentations that were afterward placed in an agenda committee, I personally thought Sherry and a lot of the committee had kind of deliberated that she was the best candidate. Specifically, she included all of the things that we were looking for, all the way from addressing resident concerns via a survey, so getting not only her own perspective, but other people's perspective as to what was best. But she also talked about her time living in that Murphree area, whether it be a lot of trash left in Midtown, how the lounge rooms and rooms that are for everybody are not very comfortable and don't have tables and chairs to accommodate them for everybody. The laundry cleanliness. I mean, the concerns were a plethora and a multitude of different areas that affected Murphree. Seeing as to why we thought this candidate was the most experienced.
Member Aldridge Murphy.
Very similar. She was very motivated and very energetic, like you said, Senator Larson. Candidate, she had a lot of the same ideas as the other candidates, but she also showed a lot of motivation to get it done, to go out and to do research, to talk to her constituents, to make sure that they're happy in their area. And if they weren't, that she was making changes and making initiatives to make sure that everyone was happy. So just with all that in mind, she was 100% one of the best candidates.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak? Senator Nadeau.
Just going off of what Mal Murphy said, I'm sure that if the candidate were to hear those other ideas that the other candidates brought forward, I'm sure she would be able to help in her position as Senator Shushi was in his position to implement those ideas as well. Even though they may not be her own ideas, I'm sure she will collaborate with those candidates as well.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in pro? Seeing none, we are now back in line for con. Are there any cons at this time? Seeing none, we are back in line for pro.
Motion to previous question.
Okay. There's been a motion for previous question by unanimous consent.
By unanimous consent.
Okay. Are there any objections?
I object.
There is an objection. So if there's no,
I remake that motion not by unanimous consent.
okay, there has been a motion to remake that motion not by unanimous consent. So we are now in line for a rising vote on previous question. It's a 2/3 threshold. So will all those in favor of moving to previous question please rise? Please be seated. Will all those opposed please rise? Okay, you may be seated. So seeing as that is clear and convincing 2/3, we are going to move to previous question and then move straight into a majority rising vote. So will all those in favor of approving candidate Luo for the Murphree area seat please rise? Okay, you may be seated. All those opposed, please rise. Seeing as that is a clear and you may be seated. Seeing as that is a clear and convincing majority, congratulations, Sherry Liu. Okay. So we are now in line for committee reports, starting off with the replacement and agenda committee. You may now give your report.
So the open seats this week, there is 1 open veterinary medicine seat and 3 open graduate seats. And I want to point out that I did send out an email earlier during the Senate meeting. Please fill out that form. There were 27 responses and like 96 of us. It needs to be filled out before April 8th. If you're still waiting to hear back from your replacement, I understand, but make sure you throw that in. Everyone, if you're here or not, needs to fill out that form. Okay, cool. Now that that's out of the way, I feel as though I need to address some of the comments made during the public comment period as chair of the replacement and agenda committee. So everyone is welcome to come to public comment and speak on which candidate they believe had the best interviews and ideas during their interview. We as a committee may have a difference of opinion regarding these qualifications. That's the entire purpose of voting on the candidate, both in the committee and here on the floor. Hearing out ideas is actually explicitly what we're supposed to do during the deliberation phase of the replacement and agenda committee meeting. However, what I do not approve of is making blatantly inaccurate statements regarding the decisions of the committee. During the most recent replacement and agenda committee meeting, we received 3 applications for the open Murphy seat. I fear, if you have paid attention at any point over the last 3 days, you would realize that not 1, but 2 candidates have lost elections in the previous year. This was taken under advisement by the committee, and while it is not a definitive disqualification for a candidate in the future, it ultimately had an impact on the committee's decision. It's important to note that we've had several members of Senate who I would consider some of the most impactful members of our chamber who served here after losing election. Thus, I would not wish to ban all students who wish to increase their civic engagement through an application to the replacement and agenda committee. Rather, I would like to ensure that the candidate that we select is the most qualified and capable to advance what their constituents want to happen on campus. Without special elections, it's our job to review applications and hear interviews. Differences of opinion aside, this is the main factor regarding any replacement and agenda committee decision, as it informs us as to whether this candidate will be able to effectively advocate for their constituents here in the chamber. In my humble opinion, if you wish to make a statement to our entire university, please conduct research first and dole out accusations second, as it benefits all of us to have productive, well-informed debate here in the chamber. Thank you.
We are now online for the Judiciary Committee report. Will the Judiciary Chair Bravo please deliver the report?
Sure. So again, legislation's just due at noon on Fridays. We're actually going to be doing our legislative workshop presentation, I believe during this time slot. I think you have the email. Thank you. The committee was kind enough to help me make this. So now that we have a full committee, we can actually present it.
They don't have to, but they're also welcome to join.
If any members of the committee would like to join me up here.
You don't have to, but you can.
Okay. You guys really love me how you did. Yeah, you got it. I'm just
Oh, wait,
talking.
I got it.
Hey, there we go. All right. So just a little bit about us. It's kind of a slide, but favorite Senate memory? Go ahead.
The Valentine's Day Senate for sure.
Halloween Senate. It was funny to see Aaron in a cop outfit with a fake mustache. Okay, so what is legislation? So defined by Merriam-Webster, it's a matter of business for or under consideration by legislative body. Right? One of our powers as the student senate is to consider all legislation put before us, as well as review rules and procedures revisions and constitutional amendments that may be put forward as well.
So during review in the Judiciary Committee meeting, there's the review process, which is 5 minutes of presentation, 5 minutes of question and answer, and then 5 minutes of debate, and then followed by 2 minutes of final privilege. And you guys should come so you can present your bills.
Sure. So the 5 criteria is what we use on the Judiciary Committee to review all legislation. So implication, so does the proposed legislation possess any consequences that are informed to reasonably occur that could be negative, whether they be to the school or society, right? Constitutionality, is it in accordance with U.S. Constitution? Legality, is the bill or resolution in accordance with federal law, state law, or local law? Format, does it follow all proper formatting guidelines that are specifically laid out by the committee? And then for clarity, is the meaning and intent of the bills reasonably understood and concise. We really want to make sure that people are addressing really only one topic in a bill or resolution. If you have too many and you try and make it too broad and overarching, it gets a little bit messy and can affect how your bill is actually enacted in the real world.
So the first kind of bill that you guys, piece of legislation that you guys can submit is a bill of law. It is defined as being amendments, additions, or removals of student body statutes or legislative records of similar to the student body statutes and enforceability. So basically, a bill requires a majority vote and it is subject to veto.
Yeah, we just included an example on here to see how exactly you go about amending a code. So having the red font, having the underline there, and then of course they can either veto, the student body president down there signed off on this, so he did not veto it, but it is subject to a veto as well.
Yeah, resolution expresses a sentiment, but it does not mandate action in the form of law like the bills do. And then it requires a 2/3 vote in the student senate, and then it is not subject to veto.
So several other components to consider when creating your legislation. Other than the whereas or therefore clauses, we often talk a lot about those. I wanted to highlight some others. So title numbering, that's done within the Judiciary Committee. You don't have to worry about that as much. Now, the title for a bill. Pick a title that specifically relates to the purpose of something being submitted. Make sure it's not too far off the mark. Authors, obviously anybody who authored the bill, you can actually come to Judiciary Committee, say if another senator helped you tweak your bill in the meantime, you had some amendments for us, and then you wanted to propose adding them as an author, you can do that. Just another good reason to come to the committee meetings. Sponsors, anybody who significantly supports the sentiment of the bill or provisions located within a piece of legislation. I also put in here that if you change a word or two in the bill, does that really qualify you as an author? I would argue not. So maybe a sponsor line is a good place to put that person who contributed, maybe pointed out an error or two, but is not responsible for writing most of the legislation. And then the chapter, rule, and header section, it outlines the chapter, rule, title, and historic amendments to the chapter. That's for code changes. So just making sure you're putting, like, you go back here, you can see up there, it says, I believe that's 525.5, just making sure that that is in line and that those codes are enumerated there. And then the proviso, so outlining provisions within the legislation as authorized within the rules and procedures. We have a new policy for provisos this year that the Judiciary Committee really wants to enforce, saying, have you talked to these people before you put them in the proviso? If you have, it's going to significantly increase the fact that your legislation may be able to have a sort of impact on the university. We've been pretty strict upon that, and we're going to continue to do so because we feel it's the best way to get things done on campus. And then some common questions and answers. Should I reach out to somebody before including them in my proviso? Just touched on that, of course. It can ultimately lead to that legislation coming to fruition. Where should sources be cited is another good one. So they should only be cited at the end of each whereas clause before the semicolon that's there. The semicolon and comma or semicolon then comma. That is where you want to have that, right before the semicolon. So in brackets, numbered 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then all sources that you list in there, whether they're cited or not, any source you use in making that bill or resolution goes at the very bottom beneath your proviso, numbered and ordered. And then font size and spacing for resolutions, single space, 12 point times 2 roman font. Code changes are different. And then can legislation address multiple unrelated issues at once? Each piece of legislation, as I talked about a little bit earlier, should only address one specific topic or issue. If you combine a bunch of unrelated issues, it can just lead to overall confusion and could potentially be a clarity failure. So we really want to make sure that you're only including one specific topic. You guys want to go? Yes, tips and best practices.
So here are some tips that we included. Reach out to your constituents. It's really important that the pieces of legislation that you're writing matters and is relevant to the people that you are here to serve. Check the constitutions and laws on the federal, state, and local level. We don't want to have to shut your bill or resolution down because it's not legal. Look back at the bills that have passed as a reference for proper formatting. You can look on the SG pages that are on the website. There's examples of bills, resolutions, everything that has passed recently. So if you take those as a guide, you should be good for formatting purposes. And then use apps like Grammarly or ask a trusted friend to review for grammar spelling errors within the bill. Thank you.
And that's all from us. We're gonna try and have, oh yeah, go.
Yeah, you guys should really come and present because we are doing a thing in Judas where we bring snacks and we help eat them. So please come and present.
Yeah, so thank you all very much. So we're gonna try and get this posted on the website at some point so that you can reference it later. But if you need any clarification about what we talked about today, just come find me or somebody else on the Judiciary Committee. So, thank you all.
Okay, we are now in line for the Rules and Ethics Committee report, or no, sorry, we're now in line for the Budget Committee report. Will the Budget Chair, Nicola?
Yeah. Hi, everybody. So my update is it's still budget season, and tomorrow requests open for operational, travel, and event. Very important because every student organization, as long as they've heard the codes, will receive base funding. But not every student organization will receive their operational, travel, or event funding because it is on a first come, first served basis. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. But Crystal and I just posted 10 minutes ago on the UF Senate and UF Student Government Instagram all the information you need to know if you are an organization leader that needs to apply for operational, event, or travel. And again, please feel free to email me, but I really would love your help getting the word out. So please feel free to repost. Thank you.
We're now in line for the Rules and Ethics Committee report. Will the Rules and Ethics Chair, Phil Aramo, please deliver your report?
Hi everyone, not a lot for me. Midterm updates were sent out yesterday. If you didn't receive one, please come find me after the meeting so I can get that out to you. I think most people got theirs. Just for some clarity, if you submitted constituency after last Tuesday, that was not included in your midterm update. The committee met again today, and we're meeting again next Monday at 11:45 tentatively. So we should be up to date after that. Yeah, constituency is most likely going to be due on April 22nd, which is 3 weeks from today. So please make sure that you're getting that in. I don't want to have to put anybody on probation. So if you have any issues finding constituency events, we do have the constituency calendar. It is on the SG website. But yeah, you can also message me if you need help finding any events, if you have any questions about what specific constituency requirements you have. Yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
We are now in line for the Information and Communications Committee report. Will the Chair Felix please deliver the report?
All right, hey guys, actually a little bit from me. So first off, if you ordered merch, that is here. So make sure to find me in the back after, and I'll get those handed out to you. But, so we actually got 5 extras from the company because they're nice enough because of the delay. So if anybody didn't order and would like to, I have 2 smalls and 3 mediums left for $35. So find me in the back as well for that. Also, name tag orders close tomorrow, so if you want a name tag, make sure to get that in before noon because that will be closing and we'll be placing that order soon. Also, if you didn't see my email, please go search up INC updates. I sent it out over the weekend. I have a lot of info on there. Headshots, I closed that up today. So if you didn't do a makeup headshot or you didn't take a headshot with me, make sure to submit one to the form. That way we can get you up on the website. Also, we're going to be having our Senate retreat April 10th. It's going to be 6 to 8, SII Portal Room 2103. But make sure you fill out the RSVP form because we're going to be making slime. I know, crazy. So I need you to make sure you fill that out so I can know how much materials I need to get. So please do that sooner than later. Also, if you get a half absence for going to the retreat, so if you need more incentives, there you go. Also, the legislation reel and post that I've been talking about, I sent in that email as well. So if there's anything you want to spotlight, make sure you fill out that form, and it has more information on the form itself. And we will be having a Meet Your Senators Cabling Day on the 9th, so attending will count as an SG event for constituency. I'll send more information about that later as well. And then lastly, mentor-mentee, I know we want to do a baseball thing, and that got rescheduled, pushed away. So we're going to be having a casual mentor-mentee social at Swamp this Sunday. It's going to be 6 to 8, so if you can, hop out. We're just going to be eating, sitting at the tables, and talking. And then we'll have more information about mentor-mentee soon. And that's all for me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. We are now in line for bills under first reading. There is only one bill under first reading. It is SSB 2025-1083. Will an author or sponsor of SSB 2025-1083 please come up to the podium to present your bills?
Not much explanation, it was the act that Mason talked about earlier, just helping with having student survey data be a resource for external affairs, as well as just having general surveys students can take when informing the lobbying decisions that we have. And I will rest my time.
Oh, we are now in line for 5 minutes of non-debatable technical questions. Are there any questions at this time? Seeing none, thank you so much. We are now in line for debate. It is 3 rounds of Concord debate with 3 minutes per round per side, and then 1 round of 4 minutes per side. Is there anyone wishing to speak in con? Senator Nadeau.
Motion to discussion by unanimous consent.
There has been a motion to move to previous question by unanimous consent. Are there any objections? Seeing none, the motion passes. We are now in line for a vote. Will all those in favor of approving SSB 2025-1083 please rise? You may be seated. Will all those opposed please rise? Seeing as that is a clear and convincing majority, that bill has passed. There are no more bills under first reading, so we are now in line for bills under second reading. No more bills under second reading. We are now in line for bills under third reading. There are none. Bills pending signatures, there are none. We are now in line for announcements. I have just one announcement, or no, 2 announcements. First of all, thank you all so much for those of you who came and joined us for the Rex Board presentation. I think that was really productive, and hopefully we'll have some more of those. I can send out the information and email address of the individual who I was contacting for that presentation if y'all are interested in that. Maybe, yeah, okay, I see some head nodding. And then second, just because we've never gotten to debate on a bill before, I believe, for those of you who are totally new to Senate. So a non-debatable technical question is a question that can be answered with a yes, no, or no fact. And so I have the ability to basically rule a question out of order if it cannot be answered in yes, no, or known fact. So I was just letting you all know for future reference. And then lastly, for the ad hoc committees, remember, if you're on campus mobility and safety, please stay after. And then that's all from me. My office hours are tomorrow from 2 to 4 p.m. Are there any other announcements at this time? Okay, we're gonna go this way. Senator Canella.
Okay, 2 things for me. One, it was mentioned in SSB 2025-1082, but next Wednesday, there will be an open mic night in the Oregon Brew at 7 p.m. Me and Cole worked on it. We contacted Rights Union Florida Fresh. They're doing a meal deal. It's 2 tacos and a beer for $10 if you're of age. We also worked with Monique from the Orange and Blue Cabinet, and we're working into getting it as a collaborative SG event, so it'll count as constituency 2. Second thing, so that's next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Be there. Second thing, INC is working on getting some committee photos. So if you're in a committee, please meet me at the stairs after this meeting. And if your whole committee isn't there, just come there anyway so we can figure out a time to take your picture.
Senator Larson.
Yes. So I have 2 things for today, one kind of serious, one less serious. The serious one, there is a very important meeting coming up for a lot of your constituents, particularly if you are an off-campus senator or a graduate senator. The Indian Graduate Students Association is holding a meeting on April 4th at 5:30 p.m. There are some serious issues facing the Indian graduate student community right now. For one, there are rumors being told by bus drivers to the primary riders of the routes that some bus routes are being canceled, routes 12 and 33. And there is also fears of deportation among the Indian graduate student community, particularly among those who are non-citizens here on student visas. Our communities are really scared and are looking for our support. So please be at that meeting, April 4th, 5:30 p.m. RTS officials and UF officials will be there. This is the only chance we as students have to talk to them before some of these things go through. So it's really important that we as senators stand up for our communities and show up for this meeting. If you're unable to be there, I understand it's pretty short notice. Please send an email to RTS and the university about this issue. It's super important that we support our communities here. On a lighter note, I wanted to give a shout out to the wonderful INC committee. They're doing some wonderful work. I'm hearing whispers that fun DMs are being sent from the U.S. Senate account, brightening some people's days, making some people smile. Some people even say that you all ate. So great work. And also, I had such a fun time getting my replacement headshot taken today by Chairwoman Felix. So, yeah, thank you all. Please talk to either myself or former MPO Naidu if you have any questions about that meeting on April 4th. Super important. Thank you all. Have a great night.
Sure, so if you'd like to still add your name as a sponsor to 1083, we do have that piece of paper up there that you can sign on your way out. It would mean a lot to Mason and I, so we appreciate it. Thank you. Oh, and then save for voter record.
Rules and ethics, Chair Philbrook.
So it was brought to my attention that some of you guys don't know how to access the constituency calendar. So if you go on USSG, the website, and then you go to the resource tab, it's in the upper right corner. It'll have a drop down, click forms, it says constituency calendar, it's the last link at the bottom. It's gonna take you to a Google Drive. There's just different types of calendars for the different types of constituencies. If anybody else has issues finding it, just come up to me after the meeting, I can show you. Thanks.
Senator Ryder.
Hey guys, just some constituency opportunities coming up. Tomorrow we have the SG funded event, the African Student Union is doing a showcase practice from 6 to 8 at the right weekend. And then the SG event, on Saturday, the graduate student networking social is at 2 to 4 and the right weekend for 3 to 20. And then next Monday, PACE is doing an unhyped PACE program at 10 a.m. Location.
Thank you. Mental health ad hoc, Chair Prieto.
Hi guys, I'm Gabby. If you know me, I'm one of the chairs of the mental health ad hoc committee. So Auntie and I were reached out by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. They're having a campus walk on Sunday at noon for suicide awareness and prevention. As campus leaders, it's really important for us to show up to these events and listen to our fellow students. So yeah, Auntie is going to be there. I might be there. So if you can show up, that'd be great. Yeah.
There are no more announcements at this time, so I adjourn this meeting at 8:43 p.m.
All right, voter record. Okay. So for the open seat.